It's 104.5 Vibes Radio. Remember, show is Morning Vibes, and we're very excited today because we've got a very special guest tonight, David Ogot. Now, David, you know, it's interesting. I've heard your story before. I was talking to my mom sometime this week, and I'll actually show you the message. She was like, reach out to David, ask him about rehab. Right? And interestingly, last evening, my producer tells me David is coming onto the show. So I'm very grateful that you're here. We put out a poster like every Thursday. It's time for my story, and our guest today is David Ogot. And when we put out the poster, it says, I went to India and came back. I went and cooled all the school fees there. So I'm going to allow you to tell your story, introduce yourself to MVPs. Remember, guys, it's time for my story.
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is David Ogot, Senior, recovering alcoholic. Yeah, that story of India. Actually, how I got to India. Okay, basically, I started drinking in first form because I couldn't talk to girls. I was in Lenana.
Yeah.
So you're told, of course, in primary school, I've always been. In fact, I'm still a very loud fellow.
Yeah.
But, you know, as a kid, you don't have an interest in girls. Girls are a bother, including my sister, the last born. We're a family of four. I'm the firstborn. So it's boys and boys. You climb a tree.
Right.
A guy climbs a high tree. You jump from a roof. He jumps from a high roof. And so on and so forth. You have an issue you can't sort out verbally. We used to have bashing corner. You go and sort out physically, alafu badai. Respect.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, you get to Form 1, and you know, but by this time your heart's beating normally, you know, kapoop poop kind of thing. Then suddenly you get to Form 1 around that age, and a girl is looking at you, and suddenly your heart is not beating, it's boop boop. It's all over the place like heart attack.
Right.
So I'm asking my friends, what's the issue? And somehow my mind would just go blank, you know. And they're saying, no, you know, girls like tough guys, bad boys, you know, guys. So what's tough guy? What's bad boy? I'm a tough guy, etc. And then, you know, you've just come from top of the school, standard 7, to now bottom in Form 1.
Wow.
You know? So they say, yeah, tough guys smoke cigarettes, they drink alcohol. So me, I'm like, hey, apana. My dad told me if you smoke cigarettes, you'll get cancer and die. Me, I don't want to die. And you know, that time my voice was treble. I was in the choir, actually. I started as treble. I ended up Form 4, I was bass. And those days, unlike today, I'm just handsome. But those days, I was extremely handsome. 3 times.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah? So, you know, my dad told me, you know, if you take cigarettes, you'll get cancer and die.
Yeah.
I don't want to, and alcohol is for adults. Right. I don't want to, you know, my parents. So they laughed. So what happens, you go out during the weekend or holidays. So my guys are drinking and smoking.
Okay.
And we're talking to our chicks and what, so me, yes. So now a chick looks at me, now wait. You know, everything I had planned to say, it's like somebody has switched off a light in, you know, blank.
Yeah.
You know, your mouth is open.
You can't say anything.
Nothing. Yeah? So, you know, it goes like this, and then, you know, you're looking at the movies, you're looking at, you know, always at the end of the movie, the tough guy who was drinking whiskey, watch out a beer, spirits, drinking, he's the one who rides off, later on drove off into the sunset with the girl, the novels you're reading. So everything is pointing you towards what my peers are saying. So before going to second form, and then, you know, like I was in the debating club. So you go to a girls' school. After the whatever, the debate, there's a dance and sodas. So you at the wall there, guys are dancing here, and you know, always one leg lifted is on the wall. I don't know why we used to lift one leg.
To look cool.
And then you're seeing that girl across. Okay, as the song is finished, I'm going to ask her. So you start crossing, then the next song. So the whole dance, so we were in what was called floater's corner. You're floating. You don't have... So there was a magazine we would do, and there was one page called Floater's Corner. So my name was always there, and this is the first page the girls would turn to when they get the magazine. So, like when I'm going to second form, I said, no, this has to change.
Yes.
So I would steal my dad's booze when he's out of town. First time I'm puking, I'm feeling nauseous. But I was determined by the time by that time I'd started smoking because we went to a field somewhere. So From one.
Oh, that's
from one. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, I think I was around 13. So picked a cigarette, you cough like a fool. But after a week, and they tell you, acha unaharibu. But after about a week, you can exhale through your nostrils and you're looking cool like those guys in the movies.
Yeah.
Pombe, I had tried, I didn't like the taste. But now before going to Form 2, I forced myself. And by the time I went to second form, I could actually drink 2 beers. And the first time we went out now with my cigarettes and my pombe, and the girl asked me, now, I gave stories. The chicks on the table were laughing. The chicks on the neighboring table were coming to see who is this extremely handsome and funny guy. And I told Jesus, thank you. Problem solved. And basically, that's how I started.
So these girls were also drinking?
Yeah, them they're already drinking. Okay. You see?
Yeah.
And then
so you would say you got into if it wasn't that ulikuwa na hiyo social anxiety,
yes,
chances are haungeingia kuna
yes
all right,
not at that stage, maybe somewhere down.
I want us to hold that thought. We're at 8:30. Remember, you're on Morning Vibes, and David Ogot is telling us his story. So I'm going to play one more song. Alafu turudi tupate, because right now you're just in introduction space. I'm sure hakukuwa na mashida bado. But yes, where did this harmless, seemingly harmless habit become detrimental? Remember, you're on Morning Vibes.
Morning Vibes, where you are the MVP.
Wacha kuwivia watu hapa. When I say when you lend a hand, stop lending them your
watu online audience tell us masalimiwe manze.
Wanaongelea sura yako mbaya hapa.
Uko so distracted na hizo.
Remember, you're on Morning Vibes. You're hanging out with Kwambox, Kev, Sounds of Riley, and of course David Ogot, who's our guest this morning. And I told me a story yake with this journey with alcohol, and the good, and then the bad, and then the downright ugly. But then his story is a story of, rising up from the ashes and picking yourself up and deciding where you're going to go. Right now, nitaambia ma MVP mnatusikiza in different parts of the country. Kama kuna mtu mwenye labda unajua pia yeye akona hiyo struggle na pombe, na labda amefika ile place pale amesema, mimi sitaitoka hii. Mwambie kuna hope, asikize Morning Vibes. David Ogot, take it away. So before we took the break, ulikuwa umesema venye in school you had now taken this up. It was giving you confidence.
Yes.
And I remember even the other gentleman who came here who had a struggle with alcohol. Alisema alcohol ilikuwa inampatia confidence. Confidence.
And you're getting validation kutoka kwa madem.
Mine was just madem. Everything else I am overconfident. To date. But that time madem.
Ulikuwa nataka tu madem like the movie stars.
Yani it's you try and talk, mind is blank. Paka even sometimes you're saying, okay, nitauliza hii, atajibu hii, then I'll say hii, then I say, can I take you out on Saturday? Dem anakuja tididi inki movie. Your heart's beating, kudup, shwa, amepita. So then you say, maybe it was too long, man, shortened. So, but when now, the first time now I drank, when I got and I'm out, mistari. From all over. So, you see, this is why I say, even to young people, even to adults, that you see, the problem was mine. So now, somebody would say that's a very stupid way, or so there could have been better ways of, you see, but that was my problem at that time. And there was nobody to help me. So, and you're at that age when you're going out, even you have a pimple. Today I was coming here, yes, I was told there camera award streaming live that around your east bado naenda job. It's not a big deal.
Yes,
but those days, the way you are shut hands, everything, there's like a pimple here, that's national disaster. When you're going out. It's stress. It's stress. Because you want to impress. So to me, it solved a very, guys are laughing at me, Floater's Corner, You see, even my guys don't want to walk with me now, now I let down, nachoma picha kind of thing, So, but that time it's not a problem. I go if I say it's 1 beer, it's 1. If it's 2, but then suddenly I'm drinking 2 beers, no effect. So I need 3. Then 3, no effect. Then 4. Then 5. Now you see, I'm a late bloomer. In the beginning, me I was the one. Oh, my father said. Now I've started late in Form 2. Half my guys could drink 1 beer, maybe 2. Now me, I'm that guy. I'm laughing at guys. Yani 2 beers.
Yeah.
You know, me 2 beers ni kufungua carburetor. Now I want to sit and drink. So remember that thing of tough guy, primary, you jump from a tree, what? Now it is who can smoke more, who can drink more. Kumbe, there's something called tolerance. Tolerance is diminishing returns. It simply means you need more of the drug to feel the same
effect
you are
initially,
feeling. Yes. So we're reaching Form 3. My group is now, my gang, my boys, Ati now you're still smoking cigarettes, tobacco. That's for fast formers, rabbles. There's the big cigarette.
Oh my God, it's so
weed.
Meskia amesema rumbles.
Any throwback.
Yes, it starts there.
Yeah, was it?
So, weed. Now, weed, me, I'm looking in my head, alcohol and tobacco are not drugs. Weed, cocaine, heroin, those are drugs. Hey, Buddha, you watch movies. You want to story about movies. Hey, you use drugs, you always end up badly. Then now, you're not going to be part of our group. So one day, there are no cigarettes. I just said, let me try. And then the plane took off.
Your time will go Form
3.
Okay.
The plane took off. I'm the pilot. I'm seeing a mountain. I want to turn. It's going through the mountain. I'm trying to. So I told God, if you help me land this plane, I'll never panda it again. The plane comes to land, it takes off again. So finally, when the thing landed, I got off. I did not touch weed again till Form 6. Which again, I had the bad effect. Yani, I'm seeing my body. I'm telling myself, walk. I can't walk. I'm seeing my body. I'm asking myself, why are you laughing stupidly? And I can't stop laughing.
But were you getting girls at that point?
No, in fact, I was zubaring. In fact, this was, we smoked in the field at Lenana School, in the field. So I never smoked this stuff, in fact, because now it was like my body is not mine.
Of course.
I'm standing there watching, it's not following commands.
But huko na hii issue na pombe. Pombe
pombe that time iko sawa.
Ulikuwa fiti nayo.
But now I'm on spirits. Because now
so umegraduate sasa.
Yeah, now you're in boarding school. Now there's that time I want to drink during the term. Don't forget you're in school 9 months out of every 12. So we used to laugh at prefects. You know, sometimes we used to go across the fence. It's called across to the Kijiji to buy chapos, because you're feeling hungry. Food is not enough. Then they would send us for cigarettes and changa. So we used to wonder, we are in Lenana, sometimes depending which girl you're talking to, you'd say, I'm in Duke of York, and you put an accent. I was born in London. My mom was working for the BBC. Oi, oi, oi. Yeah, oi, oi. Yeah.
Shout out to us, say what changes.
So it's like, who drinks changa? And even the way you'd say it, like, you know, a picture, you know, changa. But at one point, we said, let's try. So the effect was the same as Johnny Walker, whatever else, other brand you were drinking. So now how do we change the story to drink this stuff? So somebody says, you know, our mothers, some of our mothers pay school fees and build houses and do what with changa. So why are we drinking foreign booze? Build Kenya, buy Kenya. So that's how we change the story. Because pocket money was 200 bob a term.
Wow.
Maximum. So you arrive, you hand it in to the pocket money master. And then Friday you'd sign out, like, you know, I think I started drinking beer was 1 shilling and 50 cents. Hey guys, you out there. A bottle.
150.
Something like 150.
Now it's not even 150. Yeah. Now it's 300.
And I think the bottles were even bigger than 500 ml.
Hey.
So you sign out some little money for the tuck shop, you know, crisps, soda, what. If you are caught with money on you and it's not a Friday tuck shop day, it is an automatic
suspension.
2-week suspension, come back with your parents.
Wow.
Now your tolerance is high. even if you're now drinking 6-7 beers at a sitting, where are you going to hide? That's one sitting.
Yeah.
Where are you going to hide enough beers for 3 months? 2, where are you going to get the money? How are you going to smuggle it in?
So how do you
to
overcome
school?
this?
Changa, build Kenya.
By Kenya.
So now, you go, and we bought for the prefects. So, Esther Passaris at one point came with Adopter Light.
Yeah.
As we came, we were the first
Adopter
adopter
prefect.
prefect. So you buy him a jig, it's sold in washed out jig bottles, cleaned, and a packet of whatever cigarettes you're smoking. So you go, I bought this for you, sir. So he looks at you, he checks the corridor, he's thinking maybe it's a trap, the house master.
Yeah.
So he says, you drink this stuff? Yeah. You smoke? Yeah, I do smoke, I see. So you light, you inhale, you do about a third. When you exhale, very little smoke comes out. He's laughing, he says, you drink here? Ebu, I see. You pour in a glass. Flash. Like you're drinking water.
Oh, you're flashing, Changa.
Yes. So now you're walking with the prefect, you're drinking with the prefect. So mini prefect, government within.
What time of the day?
Yani when he deep states.
After 4, after 5,
Okay, yeah.
yes, now in the house.
Yeah.
So you wake up in the morning, there was dome inspection. Your bed is made military. Your boots are polished. So you come, you woke up late, you've just thrown your sheets, you haven't even showered properly, your stockings had to be up to almost your knee, below your knee. You had what were called gutters, so that they don't go down. Shorts, shoes are, you can see your face. So the prefect is coming, one sock is down, one stocking, actually stockings.
Ini kusabia pombe.
Now you are drinking, you slept late, you've overslept. So that your bodies are saying now trouble. Now today he's in trouble. The prefect is coming, just that. It's like military parade. Then when he gets to me, guys are saying, wait for it. Then the guy asks me, do you have a headache? Hata mi kichwa inauma leo sibai kwa yo mama. Yo charm ni mbaya. Government within government.
When he deep state at this point.
And now I've started stealing
Yes.
from home to buy this
Stealing
stuff.
what?
Money
example,
from
money.
my folks.
Yeah.
So the way my dad used to come, he throws his jacket on the chair. Now he'd come, he removes his wallet, he puts Nini. My mother would lock her handbag.
Because they know that you're stealing.
And kids who were in that school, who were from poorer families, who did not have something to steal at home, would now steal from fellow students, things which, a pocket radio you take to Mama Pima.
It's a crime scene.
Damn.
Yes. And now the drink is becoming a problem.
Now, at 15 minutes to 9 a.m., remember we're talking about David's struggle with alcohol. You can see imeanza shule. And to be honest, most people when mlianza kunywa jiulize ilianzia wapi. And interestingly, I've seen someone from my primary school join this live.
But also Sheila, nakumkeli report how many schools watu wana sneak in hizo
huko.
mabangi, matei, kwa sachets.
Yeah. Now, before we cross over to your campus life, I'd love to ask you a question. CS Magoha sahi anasema tunafaa kutandika watu hii saliwa kwa shule. Why? Kwa sababu indiscipline imekuwa mob. And what part of the indiscipline is what you're talking about. Watu hii wanavuta bangi, wanakunywa hizi changada. Do you think at that point ungetandikwa ingekusaidia?
Let me tell you, addiction ni tofauti. The alcoholism, the other drug addiction. And by the way, this thing of alcohol is not a drug. You see somebody says, I just smoke cigarettes and I don't take drugs. The correct statement is not tobacco, alcohol, and drugs. It should be tobacco, alcohol, and other drugs. Yeah. Wow. So once addiction comes, ni ile story of atamukizimata. And that one has actually gone blind.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh,
no. You know the person.
Yeah.
He's actually drank some bad pombe, has gone blind. Lakini anafikiria Mama Pima amezimata.
Guys, do you remember that phrase?
Okay. So there is no way you can scare yourself out of or freak yourself out of or be threatened. Addiction is addiction. Yes. Ata mukizimata. Mi nitakunywa, nitavuta, nitajidunga, whatever. But you see, that discipline helps the ones who are not addicts. Okay? That discipline was making me, even though I'm now entering addiction, early stages, to hide. You know, you're not just doing it for like today, yani walimu, what I do. There was a program I went on, I think, remember some few years ago, this banning of schools started again. So I picked from our resource center some old newspapers starting with 1978. When I was in Form 5, and the first president died. And you know what my prayer was? Because the way the country went into a shock, you know, he was like the father, what are we going to do? Everything was the president. So my hope was exams will be cancelled. That's now in the following year, because I did my A's in 79.
So that you have a break to go and...
to go party!
Yes. Then I brought now 4 newspapers from 70s, 80s, 90s, 2020, and I think I was doing that interview last year. It's always a small bunch of kids who are not prepared for exams because they're using, most probably, drugs. Really? So that is why they ban the dormitories. Because no dormitories, you are sent home. And that's why in the day schools, they ban the toilets. Because no toilets, you have to go home. How come they're not ready?
Yeah.
And nothing has changed from my time in 78, when the first president died, to today.
Now,
you see?
One question, of course, is Davy, and shout out to 01 Human, and I said, Davy, you're looking very healthy and keep pushing on.
Yeah.
I want us to take a short break, but before we do that, at what point did you know, okay, what happened?
No, just to answer your question, both. So Magoha's thing, discipline is not beating. This, you see, beating, the way you discipline your kids. Okay? But in Britain, at one point, this thing of Usiguze Mtoto got to such a point that kids were doing anything and parents were now being shipped out of that community.
Yeah.
You pack up and go look for another village to stay because your kids are a disaster, and because of the laws, we can't touch them. And so the Bible says, spare the rod.
Spoil the child.
Basically, but the rod does not mean the torture chamber. And now, as for when it started lemering me, you see, addiction creeps in very slowly. Remember the tough guy issue. Mazee usicheze na ujama ni mtungi. Bwana, wait. So you see, the more you are drinking, the more your tolerance is going up, the more you are drinking more, the more they're siphoning you. Okay?
Yeah.
So you're not noticing. But others, like parents, are seeing, suddenly this is a top student, you are going to halfway, then now you are struggling to be number 27 out of 30. Wow. But you're usually around...
Were you ever summoned by your teachers?
You see,
always,
I know, and even the teachers, you see, we're the backbenchers at the back of the class. We're the ones who throw something and there's chaos.
Rude
and
boys.
Very innocent, you see. So, and parents, them they look at report card. And my dad, disciplinarian, you reach home first thing, not how was school, how was your journey back, Nini?
Report card.
Report. And you're standing in the line. Me, my siblings, my two, because we were all in Lenana, we all ended up in Tomboy House. But how comes my immediate follower is an architect in the US with his own company? The follower after that, I failed in maths, by the way, from first form to Form 4. 9 was the lowest you could get. And my argument was, this new maths where 2 plus 2 is no longer 4 because of base. Why am I filling my head with things I won't
system
use?
4764, Yeah, because you only some Olenda A-levels.
Yes.
Similar to the Ugandan one.
So, bottom line, you always have an excuse. There's a teacher was on airing me. There was I was sick. I was what? Remember, I think my mom was seeing David is very sensitive. What?
Yeah.
Rugby. Jacko Maido carried me plus the ball. Touchdown. I went, I told my mother, I got a letter, no more rugby.
Yeah.
Cross country, the same. I have a weak chest. I used to take shortcuts, you are caught.
Yeah.
Shortcuts, you are caught.
Yeah.
Letter from my mother, 4 years. No cross country, no rugby. Always there's an excuse. You see? And they believe the excuses. And then actually addiction, we blame. Always. Even later now when you're in full, I'm drinking because this happened. The boss doesn't like me. Listen to any addict. I'm idle. I don't have a job. But you've just been fired from the job I got you with no qualifications. Job number 125 in a year. So how comes nobody's asking, why have you lost 125 jobs, which I squeezed you in because I knew somebody who knew somebody, not because you are qualified, in 1 year? Because my sickness has also made you sick. So that the addict's family and those around the addict, including employers, also now buy into that
the
denial.
narrative,
Okay?
Yeah.
Kwambox, go and buy David a drink because
He's
I was going to
stressed.
be fired today.
Yeah.
Then today I walk in and by 8 a.m. I've done the work of 5 people for a week. So the boss says no. Working he can work.
Yeah.
Kwambox is your buddy. In the evening, buy him a drink and let him open up. Maybe he'll tell you.
Yeah.
And yet what you are buying me is the
the
cause.
problem.
But then the boss is looking at, because an addict is 2 people. Right now you're talking to David A. Give me a puff or a sip or something.
I mean, you're right, because I
And
remember
that's
there's
David
a place
B.
I used to work, and there's a situation like that.
Yes.
Sasa unapata mtu, they give an impression of they're functional
Yes.
as much as they drink, so and they're happy.
Yes.
You don't even know that they're addicts, so they
Yes.
keep them like that.
Yeah.
You know, unaendelea tu kupewa
I have
kinywaji.
even, when you're using the word functional, an alcoholic who we were in school with, excuse me, who's a top surgeon in Kenya to date, if that guy is operating on you, make sure
Amekunywa.
I'm a top.
Why?
Because if he hasn't topped up, unsteady, unstable, the mind is not functioning, this guy's gonna kill you on that operating table. But once he's topped up, he's one of the top surgeons in Kenya to date. So when you go to say, they say, but look, he's just done this operation,
Oh my
which has
goodness.
not been done in Africa, whatever of the Sahara.
I want you to hold that thought. But before we take the break, we're almost at the top of the hour. Now, David's story doesn't end there. Kama nafikiri ametuonesha visanga, bado visanga zijaanza. In the next hour atatuelezea venye alifika India. What happened, yeah, because sai bado tuko lenana, tukifika India sasa atatuelezea kwa sababu sasa akona adopt hii lifestyle. Nikuulize David, read to the listeners what is on your t-shirt.
President Uhuru declared alcoholism a disease. If he can get it, I can get it, you can get it. In fact, it's funny you're asking about the t-shirt. These things have been there. We were trying to present to the president because finally, and you'll understand why we really appreciate we being the addicted community, that he finally said it's a disease, alcoholism. People would say okoka. Muslims will say it's haram. You shouldn't be using it in the first place.
Umerogwa.
Yes, when umerogwa. There are so many things. But he finally said, which means as president, that then became, or should have become, which it didn't, the government position.
Hold that thought. Remember, you're on Morning Vibes. We're almost at the top of the hour, but Salo G and Egyptian Rasema. 11 minutes past 9 a.m. Man, Allah, Mr. Lava tena. Busy signal up when I come through na Great Man is playing right here on Morning Vibes. Oof, anaitwa Busy. Saa zingine anajiita Busy alafu anasema
Busy. Man, Busy signal, man. Nimekuwa nikicheki hiyo IG yake. He's featuring some serious women.
You know what he says?
Them can't stop the thing.
They
No matter what them
can't.
try.
No matter what them try, they can't stop the thing, man.
Hell to the no. That's the Busy sound.
But you know who's on Rhythmos today?
Who this? Beanie.
Beanie Man.
Up against who?
Going head to Sidri, bring your opponents.
A Sean Paul, man, the
Nasikia-
legend.
Are you sure it's Sean Paul Amole Chali mwenye ulipatana hapo Kilimani Primary?
Sean Paul, unajua ule boys anakanga ka Drake.
Ule mwenye alipiwa. But then Drake hates that guy.
Anamchukia.
Drake
man.
anamchukia manze.
Yeah.
I would hate him as well. Manze
But-
mtu anaenda hapo ati oh you look like Kwambox. Alafu kila pale ati anaenda.
Imagine.
Wewe kama unajua unaendanga out there na unaambiwa you look like Kwambox, say okay.
No,
but
don't say.
act accordingly.
You lipo kufanya hizo maclub appearances.
Imagine.
Yeah, like I think $5,000 just because it looks like Drake, man.
God's plan.
God's plan. So yeah, mitakuwa na Sean Paul na tutakuwa tuna shut down on the Rhythmos. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah, don't miss that. Right now, we're finishing off the conversation with David Ogot. Na leo tunaongea juu ya addiction maze. And if you listen to the show, tumeshinda tukisema maze, if you're struggling with addiction, hauko solo. You're not alone. But it starts with you first admitting uko na shida. Alafu, tafuta mbinu, tafuta watu, step by step you can get out of it. It's why we invite people who've been there, done that, and are still fighting the good fight to ensure that they're out of that addiction. David Ogot, welcome back.
I've got one question, David, before you tell us now. We go to India. Are you still friends with your my old boys kutoka Lenana?
Yes.
Wale wase mlikuwa mnaenda nao drinks?
Yes. In fact, I go to Changa Dance. I go to these bars I used to do, the shady ones, etc. And I don't go to preach. May I just go, whatever the topic, unless football, me, I'm not a football guy. Whatever the topic, I join in. Play my music, sing my stupid songs, etc.
Yeah.
All I am showing them, si munanikumbuka. And of course, in the dance, legend, you know, they even say things I never did. Mase munaona ujama, mase musicheza, ujama alikuwa noma. And you know, they're saying, I was them, they're not a problem.
Yeah.
But you see, so these guys want to know, and I'm buying.
Oh,
okay?
no, yeah.
And I'm buying. So I want somebody to look at me and say, now this guy, alikuwa na sisi hapa, suffering, no food, you are staying 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, ngoda ni ile, socks ni ile, ujaoga, nini, you've not brushed your teeth, blah, blah, blah.
Basically sita edit Chalia. Anakunywa, akona addiction. Ngoda 10 days.
It happens.
It's ni kama hujipendi.
You see what is happening? No, you will find somewhere atakwa sink, put some water kwa your armpit. When you meet the other ladies there, sex workers, can I borrow your spray? Spray. So you know, after 10 and una spray huko ndani kwa ngoda. So you know, after 10 days you have like 30 different sprays, 30 days of sweat. You know, I'm dancing on the table, playing the guitar with no shirt. Meno hakuna. In fact, just allow me gentle dental. You see, gentle dental it's an ongoing program. 001 for addicts, and then after me, there's a whole bunch of addicts who are going to be sorted out, basic and other whatevers. But it's so you are trying to look okay. You know every shoe shiner. You have credit facilities. But at some point, unaona jamaa amejiwachilia.
Kabisa.
And that time now you know you are now in the chronic or final stage. You don't care. The addict has given up on themselves. You'll never say. An addict always has an answer for what they do. As I said, we blame. And then the family buys into the blame. Now, me, somebody walks into a bar one time and says, hey, your friend has a problem. I have a brother like that. He was taken to rehab. So I hear. So there was this guy is saying I'm a problem. I have 4 kids. If I drop dead right now, my firstborn, if he drops, that's my daughter. If she drops, that's the last. You have no wife. If you drop dead right now, that will be the end of the line from your ancestors.
Response.
Sasa, between me and you, who has a problem? Sit down, I buy you 2 beers, we see how to get you a wife so that you get children. Usikuwa being a waste of space.
Jesus.
You see my response? The other time you're asking somebody, you are walking around with this thing called a tie like Ambuzi for 30 days being pulled by somebody called your boss. How much do you make? 30K. You put 50K on the table. You say, I've just made this 2 hours ago. It's not even 10 a.m. Between me and you, nani akona shida?
Oh my God.
In fact, yo mshahara yako, perekea bibi. We sit down, we buy you pombe. We have money. Money is not our problem.
Hey.
You see the kind of thinking. Okay? So an alcoholic will wake up even in a mtaro and guys are whispering, amekufa. Like, hi, amekufa. So you wake up, you're in your suit.
And what are you thinking at that time? Usali umeamka hapo kwa hiyo mtaro.
No, that is not me. I used to pride myself, no staggering, no blackouts. I prided myself, no puking. But, you know, I'm giving you a situation where a guy looks up, he's not seeing why are people wondering whether he's dead or what. Why is he with his suit in a mtaro on a Monday morning? He's thinking, hiyo changa ilikuwa poa paka nimelala kwa mtaro. Let me go back before it's finished.
What?
You see, you only see the positive side of And then, remember I said an addict is 2 people. And I'm using alcohol to represent the other drugs. So, my reality has altered. Remember, I'm drinking because if you want good business plans, go and sit in a Changaden. Because an alcoholic, between 6 when I start drinking and 9 a.m., we have solved all of Kenya's problems.
Corruption.
Everything. We have the
tribalism,
solution. Everything. Between
unemployment.
9, yes, between 9 and 11, we have sorted out the rest of Africa. Their problems. All from economic, socio-economic, moral. By 11 to 1, we have solved the rest of the world. So we wonder, why are people so stupid? Can't they see?
They don't see these things.
They don't see these things. Okay? So you go there, you want business plans, go and sit there. By Saine, you will go with proposals, you'll even become a consultant for business plans. Because the alcoholic, now I will get the idea. Then I'll say, now, because you see that song of alcoholics, nobody understands us. So if I go now, me, I'm not high. But since I'm smelling of alcohol, they won't understand me. So, but since now I've got the plan, I'm making these mega tunes tomorrow, and then all that things I stole from my mom, my wife, my what, even that phone was useless, I'm going to buy them, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay? But yes, I've got the plan. This is sorted.
Crazy.
Guys, let's drink.
Yeah.
Now tomorrow, first problem. You are kute meka, withdrawal. You need a drink. Okay? And this thing, you say kutoa lock. Unatoa lock wapi? Your brain.
Okay.
Your brain cannot think.
Until you drink.
Your brain is confused. I would go to one of the banks I won't mention, but it's a very big bank near Third World, what we used to call across Tomboya Street, Third World. I tell them, here is a check, just give me 20 bob. Because I am shaking. I can't sign anything. And they got used to it. Okay? And this check, I've bugged you in a club the whole night, you don't have cash, so you do me a check. So I go, I hammer a glass, bam, 20 bob, come back straight.
So this is a disease.
It is a disease. I can now think. Because your brain, why do you think guys carry a cup of booze as they're moving from club to club? Arrest this guy. Comes out, officer, what's your problem? We think you're drunk. No, I'm not drunk. Walk on the line. Stand on one leg. I do it. Okay, stand there for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, officer, what's your problem? Why you arrested me? Because the blood in my alcohol level is getting too high. So I maintain, and that's why I carry my booze as I'm moving so that I maintain the alcohol level. But if you stop me and keep me, I now start getting drunk before your eyes. Yet I'm standing there, I'm not drinking anything.
Okay.
The brain is getting confused because the brain is used to operating with high levels of ethanol, nicotine, THC, or whatever other is the psychoactive ingredient in that stuff you are taking.
Now, David, a lot of people are listening to us from different parts of the country, of the continent. And unajua ni kweli, David, watu wengi hata hawezi kubali wako na shida. As in, ukiangalia habits from when you started to Sai 2022, do you think Kenyans understand the impact of alcohol? Because most people think that they're still drinking socially.
Yes.
You know, it's just something I do on the weekend. But you have people wanaingia club kwanzia Monday, Tuesday akitoka job, Wednesday, Thursday baada ya kazi burudika. You know, Monday to Monday. Unasikia msema ametoka job, ametoka MJ. Siku yote yesterday, interestingly, we were talking about nutrition. And mtu anakula chapodondo, anaenda anafanya kazi the whole day, jioni changa. Cycle continues. So, do you think Kenyans are really being honest about our struggle with addiction? And especially, I want us to talk about alcohol.
I'll put it this way. Remember I said now you need a drink in the morning. Yeah. Once I drink, my mind stabilizes. I know Kwambox has my money, Kevo has this, so-and-so has this. I'll go and con who you. I left this one a suit in which laundry I can go and pull it out and sell it to so-and-so wanted my shoes, blah, blah. You see, my mind is actually, my poison has now conversely become my medicine.
Okay.
Okay? Now, stigmatization is what makes even the alcoholic not want to agree is alcoholic. And by the way, what you are saying, unaambia Mbogi first ujikubali. Top 10 songs of an alcoholic, and they keep moving in that top 10 charts. I can stop when I want.
Yeah.
I'm not addicted. I'm drinking because I'm stressed. You see, my wife or spouse cooks badly. Yeah, and they keep, number one keeps shifting. You see, this is the altered reality I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yesterday I drank my kids' school fees. That's bad. But then if my wife had not, or if so and so had not, then that's how I deal with the guilt. As long as it's not my fault. I got sacked from this job. Okay?
Yeah.
But why is my dad has connections. Why is he getting me a job as a clerical officer? Well, so you see, and then resentment. Why is my brother's wife, when they come from the US, driving my dad's car? And me, the askaris at the gate, have been instructed, if my parents are out of town and I am seen in that compound, they will follow me for a new job, because their job is resentment. So you drink, you see, to deal. So it's actually a sickness. But stigma, where does it come from? Ignorance. Things we don't understand, epilepsy, albinism, all these things, cerebral palsy, all these things we don't understand, we stigmatize. So because alcohol is close to too many people, remember, so many people don't take it as a drug, you say, even the alcohol manufacturers say, drink responsibly. Okay? And then we say that there's a book, I hope somebody outside there, even any of you guys, which I wrote like in 2009, somebody can help me publish. I say is that definition. If you define a problem wrong, then the solution you'll come up with is obviously wrong. So starting with alcoholism, what is it? And when I left rehab in 2001, I did an article where I asked that question, what is alcoholism? 22 years down the line, with all the resources, my organization is, for example, 3 months older than Akada etc. With all the resources which have been put forward to tackle, including the president now saying what he said, there is more confusion now to that question, the answer to that, than there was 22 years ago. Why? Vested interests. If you are a coffin maker, you do not want to hear stories of cremation.
It's true.
You'll be out of business. If people have been saying alcoholism is this by their training, and suddenly somebody is coming up and saying, Apana, it is this, you're out of business. And this is a huge market. So, number one, to fight this stigma, and this is why my organization, our mantra is, our stories will set us free. And you come, I am David Nyamabite, that's my stage name, David Nyamabite Ogot. Not at his Peter, not his real name. And then you are blurring out my face. That is adding stigma. Okay? So you come with your story. I was this happened to me, I have ended up in a wheelchair, paralyzed from waist down because of drunk driving. I have ended up HIV positive because of alcohol. I have ended up like this. So we tell our stories so that we normalize it, because there is treatment. It is a disease. What kind of disease? It is treatable. So the first thing you are saying, alcohol, I am not anti-alcohol. People say, oh, so you are, I'm not anti-alcohol. I am anti-underage drinking, because your brain, for one, is not mature. Youth in itself is risk-taking because of the immaturity. Then you add poor judgment from alcohol or the other drugs. That's poor judgment squared. You're in trouble. And then you're slowing down your brain development. And I am against alcoholics drinking. Why? And let's go to definition. Don't tell me I have a drinking problem. I can drink you plus your clan and your cousins under the table, one man solo, and your unborn children. So drink is not my problem. I can drink. So then what is my problem? If drink is not my problem. My problem then, if we define it correctly, what is alcoholism? It is characterized with a stopping problem. Once I drink,
You can't stop.
So in my book, what the example I give, if my body is a vehicle, number plate is Dave Nyamabite. Where's the steering? It's my brain. Right now I'm driving. Give me even a teaspoon of alcohol, David A moves to the driver's seat. David B is now in control. You said you are going for one beer. So you said one. We are here, we're going to drink one crate, or we are here 1 week, or we are here 1 month, and there's nothing David B can do because he's not in the steering seat. Yeah. But everybody's reading the number plate. Yes. Yes. And that's why you see, in workshops we ask people, do you have alcoholics in your workplace? Yes. I would describe them. They're bad people, they borrow money, they don't pay it. And these guys get so pissed, and we're writing. And they're so pissed off and, bad mood. Then we give them a beat. They say, okay, describe the same fellow when they have not drunk. Oh, that's the work of 10 people. What? In fact, I live with my children. Then they start laughing by themselves because they realize 1 minute they were describing a devil. The same person now, they're describing as an angel. So we then ask them, so is the problem the person or the alcohol?
And I want us to stop there. Remember, we're with David Ogot and we're talking. Tunaongea juu ya pombe mazee. Na tuseme tu kweli, addiction ni kitu yenye ina hurt our society. Kuna watu wengi sana hata saa hii. Ni mara ngapi mnanipigia mnaniambia kwa box kwa hiki kijiji mazee vijana washatokelezea asubuhi. Wako kwa base. Hapo sasa tumejua ni nini na happen kwa base. Ni ma proposal, my idea, my wild solutions.
Waende wachote business plans.
Lakini unajua, lakini kuna kitu tena David amesema, hii kitu si pombe pekee. Tuwe watu wa ukweli. Si pombe pekee. Addiction ziko mingi. Hata jaba kuna addiction.
Yes. Junk food, jaba.
But nataka tuongee zile addictions za intoxication. Labda yako addiction pia labda ni labda kuna vitu zenye una watch zenye zinakuharibia muda
on your phone. Late in the night.
You spend all your time hata sasa umeka tu hapo unaongelesha dem huko kwa simu yako. And we've seen it. So addiction, fast tunataka kusema it is a disease. Ni disease, umesikia David akikwambia na iko treatable. Sasa nataka tufungue phone line on 0719012700 kama kuna kitu yote unataka kuambia David, ama labda unataka kusema unataka usaidizi, ama labda maybe you have a family member that's struggling with it. We're going to open the phone lines so we can hear from you. Remember, you're on Morning Vibes. It's 9:30.
Rebels and reggae heads, start your day the MVP way, where you are the MVP, no negative vibes.
Remember, you're on Morning Vibes. And kumbuka pia bado Ridimo ziko hapa. We're going to be battling Beanie Man going head to head with Sean Paul.
Sean Paul. Yeah. Anyway, Sean Paul, the guy who was in Nairobi at some point, but no one seems to believe me kwa his studio. Ni sawa.
Even Beanie Man was here. Even Beanie Man alikuja show. Lakini hiyo show naikumbuka fiti sana. Ilikuwa 2000 earlier. Anyway, ilikuwa kitambo. And
was it a good show?
What happened was it wasn't.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
As in, ilikuwa mimi, Beanie Man, na mabeshte wake watatu.
And I know you're being sarcastic, but ni sawa.
It was, turned out ilikuwa mbovu. Nakumbuka.
Are you speaking fast?
I'm being serious, manze. Ilikuwa kani. If anyone remembers that gig, manze, wewe kumbuka.
Yeah,
Beanie Man alitoka hapa kaa manze amejam, manze. Ilikuwa tu.
Turn out ilikuwa down,
Ilikuwa down.
Well, ukiangalia kwa nini in the dancehall space, one of the most amazing performers imekuanga Sean Paul and his dances, man. So I mean, and even lately tunasikia wase kwa conscious wana look up to Sean Paul.
Unafanya lakini kila mtu anajua who is the king of the dancehall.
Just because of that one song.
You're the king of the dancehall.
My friend.
Why you wanna be that guy? Do you really wanna be that guy?
Has it been vibes,
all right. Vibes ako kwa rhythm. Ako kwa rhythm was.
Doesn't matter. We're talking about the king of the dancehall.
All right, so you can hear battle itakuwa fiti sana hapa. Keva nakata matokeo na
is sawa.
Sai, we want to give you a chance to ask a question. If you've got a question for David, ama unataka tu kuchangia, the number to call is 0719012700. Big up to Aizo Mudhakafu.
Anasema?
My dyslexia mazee imesoma hiyo kitu. Mpaka nimesema siwezi soma hii jina kwa ni Mudhakafu.
Mudhakafu.
Nilikuwa turn around mazee ilikuwa vitu zingine. Anyway, anasema he works in a rehab. Yeye ndio anaita hiyo alcohol use disorder. And he also says it's a journey, battling alcoholism. I don't know whether he's battling but
It
anyway,
must
let's
be a
hear from.
journey. It must be a
let's
tough
hear-
journey.
It's a tough journey, Mazi. It's a tough journey, and to families that are dealing with a member with alcoholic, we're going to tell you how you can deal with
My
that.
heart goes out to you and your family.
Nyukide,
Uza, yes I.
ingia kwa conversation. Nasemaje?
Kuna swali ama comment?
Airada ni gani?
Ai, Nyukide,
Man.
Mazi. Wacha tutakukol, Mazi. Tunashinda tukiambia VPs, please don't call in the middle of a conversation if you've not been listening to the
Exactly.
station. Hello, ama tutaanza kwa blacklist. Tunawajua sasa. Hello. Hey, tunaongea na nani mwenzetu? Ingia kwa conversation. Nasemaje? Antonio.
Hello.
Hey, unasemaje? Welcome to the show. Hey, Antonio, mazee, sijui simu yako iko kwa maji ama? Fanya hivi, toa mdomo kidogo, sukuma, ipatie distance mdomo na microphone.
Okay, niko nasema
Kupati mazee. Let's hear from Tehuti. Tehuti?
niaje.
Fiti sana, welcome to the show.
Sasa leo nimesikia topic poa sana hapo about addiction. Na addiction ni ugonjwa mbaya sana, sababu addiction ni ugonjwa ya mind. Na sasa mimi niko na bro mwenye anaendea hizo vitu za huyo David anasema, lakini sasa yeye kwanza ako stage baya, sababu ako zile za hataki kuambiwa nikia free. Unaona, lakini mimi naweza sema kwa sasa the bad thing about addicted people ni hiyo kitu inaitwa stigmatization. Once tumeanza kuona kama watu different kutoka sisi, sababu ukiangalia at the end of the day hao watu ni sisi tutawasaidia. Hakuna ukitenga watu wao wenyewe hawana wao yao wenyewe ya kujisaidia, lazima asaidiwe na mtu mwenye ako outside of addiction.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. You can hear his issue is he has a friend mwenye ako kwa hiyo addiction na hataki kuambiwa ako na addiction, and we find that a lot. I'm going to take 2 more phone calls. Remember, you're on Morning Vibes. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, unasemaje? Tunaongea na nani? Piga simu bana, kuwa tayari kuzungumza. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hey, tunaongea na nani?
Ongea na
I don't think he has something to say.
Tunaongea na nani?
ongea na mtu bana.
Okay, unasemaje?
Nasema addiction ni kama venye umezoea kuongelesha watu kwa redio vibaya.
I don't think he's ready to talk, Sheila. Just cut it. Why would you call a radio and do those things?
It's okay. All right, David, in the event that kuna mse akona like Tehuti who's member anasema hako addicted, how does a member handle that? What should we know?
Yeah, so unaona number 1, addict hata kubali yeye ni addict. My t-shirts all have messages. One of them says alcoholism is the only disease which tells you don't have it. So you start as family member. Ujue, and I like what he's saying, ani watu wetu, at the end of the day, hata tuache kuwa stigmatize.
Yeah.
These are our people. So we say, hate the disease, not the person. The person, your person is there, A, amezwa na version B. Okay? So first is the family to understand addiction ni nini. Okay? Because whether unatumia heroin, whether unatumia kichuri, unatumia pombe, tei, whatever, mostly it is the same treatment.
Yeah.
Now, kama utakuwa na psychiatric issues, unaona hiyo jamaa moja anasema SUD, substance use disorder, is complicated. The other times, remember I told you, what is alcoholism? You'll get as many descriptions as there's types of pombe, which is the correct one. Me, I go with the one which worked for me. Na mimi nilipelekwa kila mahali, mwishowe which doctor. Yeah? And my dad used to call clan meetings. And nauliza, hii ni pesa. Pesa I can get some more. what can you suggest which we have not tried? So lastly, some uncle or cousin what suggested which doctor, it didn't work. Akaita hiyo clan meeting, akaomba Mungu, unaona kila kitu. You have seen we have tried to help our son, our firstborn David. Sasa Mungu tunakukumbusha, he's also your son. We are handing him back to you. Umuite, apumzike, hata si tupumzike. Because there was nothing left to try.
So they've given up.
Yeah, there was nothing left to try.
Yeah.
They had tried everything, and not everything was tried more than once.
Yeah.
Okay? So now he instructed everybody, my wife, my uncles, my aunties, musimsumbue, stop asking mulitoka wapi, umekunywa, tumeshaomba, Mungu amesikia maombi, we wait for the day ataitwa, aenda apumzike with his other father, hii father ya hapa imekata, na hata si tupumzike. That is when I got sober. And that is why I said I can only talk about the one which worked for me and which ended my 27-year career as a terrorist. Because me, I say addicts are terrorists. We first terrorize ourselves, we terrorize our families, we terrorize our employers, we terrorize the society. Okay? Then in a very simple place, 200 bob a day, pit latrine, and some of these places I was being taken is 5,000 a day, just the room. Then madawa. And let me tell you, kuna vitu nilifanya when I was drinking. My mother never shouted, David, now why have you done this? What are you going to tell Mzee? Why didn't you? Come. Yeah. But there's one of those institutions where my parents paid 1.2 M in the 90s, if you put it in today's money.
Yeah.
And that was less than 3 months total on 3-4 different visits. My mom walks in, the first time I'm in there, I think day 4 or 5. I am drooling, natuamate, now forget what I'm saying, middle of sentence, and I heard my mother, the only time in my life I ever heard my mother shout, my mother passed in 2015, what have you done to my son? Because even in his worst drug use, I've never seen him like this.
Wow.
Okay? Unapewa pills, nini, So, when by the time Mzee Buddha na give up, see ati, nini, there's nothing left to try. Then I get to this place where they are coming from the point it's a disease. Okay? Now, what kind of disease? That is the key thing. Because rehab is just a structure. Yeah. It won't make you sober. So, 2 things matter. What is the person describing this thing as? Is he saying okoka, umerogwa, umenino, or they are coming from point of disease? Where I landed finally, they came from the point of disease. In 14 days, at 200 shillings per day, I knew my problem. And I got so annoyed, nikiona hiyo safaration yote nimepita, personally, my family, nini, nikasema, since my background is media, nikitoka, I will just do articles, programs like this, tell people, munadanganywa. Shida si hii, ni hii. Then one thing led to another, the office came about. And the issue is still the same today. When I came out, Nakada was being run by Joseph Kaguthi, was the boss. I was introduced to him by my mom.
Yeah.
We went to do research so that we can set up standards for rehabilitation. You don't have quacks and what and what. This is in 2001. Last year, or this year, and all the years in between, there have been more workshops on standards of rehab. So my question is, when I entered rehab October 1, 2000, okay, a friend of mine who, let's say, was an addict, and then I left on 4th February 2001, had a child born that day. That child is now 22 years, is probably an alcoholic. His father, who I left, my classmate when I entered, is alcoholic. And this guy who was born when I left rehab is now 22, is alcoholic, and probably has a son who is also going to be, and you're still doing standards.
Wow.
When are you going to start treating a very simple disease to treat? You start with the family. What is the problem you are dealing with? Learn about it so that you know how to tackle then your alcoholic last once you have known the problem. And as I was saying, the majority of people worldwide, adults, who drink alcohol do so with no problem to themselves or others. So it is only a minority who are alcoholics.
Yeah.
Some studies say 10% of a given population, some say 15%, end up alcoholics. So you can't drink responsibly. Once you start and you continue and you have those genes, you will trigger the disease you are born with. Upende, usipende.
So much to learn there. Of course, 2 hours of having this conversation.
Powerful stuff,
David,
man.
thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. Tukimalizia, of course, remember, if guys want to reach out to you, to your organization, labda wamesikia ujumbe na wamesema they want to, reach out to you, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, as I'm saying that, could I just, the president's T-shirt? You can get me, okay, President said it's a disease.
Yeah.
Your T-shirt is there, Mr. President. I tried to reach you. We're going to frame it. You can get me on 0726 0058 24 or just Google David Ogot. You will get our Facebook pages, etc., social media. The name of the organization is the GoingHome.com Trust. GoingHome.com Trust, or Google David Ogot.
All right.
And thanks for having me.
Thank
Thanks a
you
lot,
to
Mr. David.
all MVPs. We can see your comments coming in. We appreciate you. And I hope you've learned a thing or two in my story. Right now, we're coming back with the Rhythm Wars.
Morning vibes, no negative vibes. Playing music for the rebels. Vibes Radio 104.5.